Joining us now, Joseph Semprevivo, the owner of Joseph's Light Cookies. Hey, good to have you with us, Joe.
Hey, John, thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Hey, look, I'm kind of fired up because I love to get business owners on. Now, we own a business. Of course, it's not as big as your business is, but, you know, it's still a business we own. We own a couple of radio stations and a network, and we got to manage it. And the tax cut has been a tremendous opportunity for us because we've been able to buy some new equipment, upgrade some stuff, give Michael a raise, all that good stuff. Tell us about how the tax cut, Joe, is affecting. First, tell us a little bit about your business and then how the tax cut is impacting your world, Joe.
Absolutely, John. So our company was started in 1986. We've been in business for 33 years. But prior to getting started making sugar-free cookies, my parents were restaurateurs. They went on a one-week vacation, came back to an empty building. The manager stole everything. My parents lost it all. They didn't have enough money for food, so they were skipping meals so they could feed my brother, my sister, and myself. So we started with absolutely nothing, and we fought for the last 33 years. And it's hard enough, as you know, in business alone with competition, external and internal factors. But when you have the government interfering and saying, hey, here's higher taxes, more regulation, it makes it more and more challenging for us smaller businesses. So the tax cuts for us were huge. What it does is I always say there's like two buckets. Mm-hmm. Your money comes into one bucket, and you have to take that money out and put it into a separate bucket that goes into taxes. So if you're in a 35% bracket, you take that 35 cents out of the first bucket, you put it in the second bucket, and now you keep that money out of the economy. You have to save it to be able to pay Washington, D.C. and the IRS. So when they reduce taxes, it takes that money out of the second bucket and gets to move it to a third bucket. And that's to the team members or buying equipment or expanding your business, marketing, advertising, new packaging, whatever you want to put that money to. And I have very specific examples. When you're ready, I'll be happy to share with you with what we did with the taxes.
I want to know what that is, Joe, because this is really the untold story of what the Trump tax cuts have did. That's why I am committed to getting business owners on my show every week through April 15th, explain their story, because, look, I went through it. We were able to pay our employees more money, give bigger raises, give bonuses out. That's one aspect. Also buy equipment. So I want to hear, with the tax cut, what are some of the things that you've been able to do with your company that impact real people and your growth?
Absolutely. So I went to my team members and I said to them, when the tax cuts passed, I said, this is from President Trump. He reduced our taxes and I want to give you a raise. So we gave 5 of our team members a raise up to $5,250. Linda, who was working on the assembly line, got a raise of $3,750. Anthony got a raise for $5,250. Mike got a raise for $3,600. My team members all got raises because of this tax cut. But here's a beauty story. This is the untold story. And that is where Mike ran out from his raise. He has 2 little girls under the age of 3. He bought a car with his raise because that was enough for a car payment. And he said to me, he got all choked up and he hugged me and he said, thank you so much. Now I can give safer transportation to my wife as a gift because of these tax cuts. And I said, don't thank me. Thank President Trump and the Republican Congress who gave us these tax cuts. It enables me to free up money to give to you to reward you for your loyalty. Now, I look at this and what this does. The manufacturer in Michigan, the union members that made the car got paid. The transportation who took the car to Florida got paid. The salesman who sold the car got his commission. The dealership got money, and the municipality got the tax on the money. So all those people affected by one simple raise. And then Linda bought a house. When she got her raise, there was enough money to pay that extra couple $100 a month in a payment. She bought a home. The salesperson got a commission on that home. So all because of a tax cut. Then you get Nancy Pelosi making a comment that these are just mere crumbs, and we want to reverse these tax cuts, take them away from small business owners and the middle class. It was what you said in the opening. I mean, really, it comes down to the Democrats are clueless when it comes to issues of the middle class and small business owners.
Well, they don't get it because they don't own or run businesses, and they have been formulating and perpetrating a lie on the American public for 18 months, saying that the Trump tax cuts aren't going to help small businesses, that they're only for the rich and wealthy, they're only for the big faceless corporations, that they're not going to help the middle class. And it's all lies, and it's going to continue to be exposed, but it's coming to a head now. We're with business owner Joseph Semprevivo. He is the owner, founder, and CEO of Joseph's Light Cookies. They bake more than 12 million sugar-free cookies a day, in addition to providing sugar-free pancake syrup and other products. And Joe, so when you look at this and the impact it has on people's lives, you know, you mentioned your one employee getting the raise and buying a home. That means that instead of that home being sitting on the lot, she's now paying property taxes, local taxes. I mean, it goes on and on and on. This money has been spread around, which is helping the economy. But then let's also talk about the actual impact of the tax cut on your business, right? Because as a small business, you draw an income or you transfer the money. So you're also paying less taxes yourself, right?
Absolutely. And it's all about freeing up that money. When you're in that first bucket going to the second bucket, what ultimately happened is we took money out. We needed a much needed upgrade system for our tunnel oven, which is over 150 feet long. And we had to buy a special board on it. Well, we got to do immediate expenses because for the tax cuts, the Tax Cuts and Job Act allowed us to do an immediate expense. So we bought that board. We also created packaging to be sold to China, Mandarin packaging. We had a client that said, if you make it in Mandarin, we will literally buy 10 times more product from you. And so we did. They went from 2 pallets to full containers, which are 20 pallets an order. So we invested the money in packaging, which was pretty expensive. And then with our pancake syrup, we expanded our factory and to exclusively pancake syrup. We moved it to the state of Florida, which is a really pro-business state, from the state of New Mexico. And we're manufacturing syrup larger quantities than we've ever made in our lifetime. So this is all because of a tax cut. And, for our listeners, I mean, they should go to taxcutswork.com. And this is a really cool exercise. If you want to know how Trump's tax cuts affect each individual, go to taxcutswork.com. Entering your W-2 information, boom, it spits it out. Hey, if you make $50,000, you just saved $1,200 under our current tax cuts. So it's a really cool app to use.
Go to taxcutswork.com. It's going to be all right there. Put it in, taxcutswork.com. I got a text here from Sean the other day, says that he got a 3% raise in whatever that was, like in 2018, did his taxes. He said, I got a 3% raise, so I made, a couple $1,000 more. And he said, I paid on that raise, my total taxes were $1,300 under what I paid in 2018. So I made more money and paid less. I mean, even for the people that you gave the raises to, you mentioned 3,700 and 5,200, right? Yep. They are going to pay less taxes, federal taxes this year in 2019 when they file than they paid before you gave them the raise last time. So their income went up, their taxes went down. That's disposable income for hard-working families. Now, let's get to businesses so everybody understands this that owns a small business. And, don't get caught up in the deduction, the itemization that you're all caught up in. Just look at the big picture, because you got too many people caught up in that. Look at the big picture, because you hate change. Here's the big picture. If you own a business, number one, if you have an LLC and you transfer the profit from your business to your personal income, number one savings is 20% right off the top. So if you made 100, it's now 80, 20% comes off. So then you're only paying taxes on the 80. Then on that 80, or if it's 150, it's 120, whatever it is, 20%. Then you're paying a lower marginal rate than you were. So you're saving on that. Then if you have children, right, that deduction for each child, $2,000, comes right off what you owe. It doesn't get factored in. So if you owe $10,000, you have 3 children, $2,000 apiece, 6 comes off. I mean, this thing is so amazing. People just don't realize it. Then the other thing is, you buy any piece of capital equipment under the old plan. Remember, Joe, you had to take the deduction over a 5-year period or something? It was stupid.
Yeah, you have to depreciate it over 7, 10, 39,
For a small, if you're making $1 million purchases, okay. You're a tiny company like I am. I bought a new piece of equipment this year, $12,000. I was able to deduct the entire thing in 2018, all of it. I mean, that's a huge difference for small companies. It's why they're expanding all this as people do their taxes. They're going to get the wow, Joe. They're going to get the wow, and they're going to say, oh, my goodness, I can't believe how much money I saved. That's going to me rather than the federal government, Joe.
Oh, absolutely. And what people also realize is when there's a tax cut for a small business, they're able to become more competitive in the marketplace by if materials have gone up, and I've known several manufacturers to do this as well. Their material costs, their input costs has gone up because our economy is booming under the Trump administration. They're able not to raise those prices to the customers because of the tax cuts. So they're able to pass on more, or not pass on as much to the consumer to make it more competitive in the market. And also it adds international competitiveness for our businesses. Because when you look at, if we're competing against Ireland, let's say, a 12.5% tax, or any of the other countries, being that we are the largest, highest tax country in the world, it makes us less competitive internationally. When people are sending their products to our country, they have a huge advantage over us. We're paying 35% taxes, or 25, depending on your structure, or 22, I mean, and they're paying 17, 15, 12.5%. So it puts us at a huge disadvantage. And what Trump has done with the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act is really made us more competitive internationally and gave more money back to the people and back to the businesses so they could give raises. And everyone, especially the middle class, is at a huge advantage now compared to what they were 2 years ago.
Unbelievable. Hey, man, I got to go. I want to thank Joe Semprevivo. He is the owner of Joseph's Light Cookies. Thanks, Joe, for being with us. Here's what you do. Go to taxcuts.com. Put it in right now. See what you save. Go to taxcutswork.com, taxcutswork.com. Hey, Joe, thanks for being with us.
Hey, thank you so much.